Chapter 6628. Nishida Hirohiro said quickly. Director Watanabe, my people can surrender at any time. And I tell you the truth, I have long realized that my behavior is very wrong and cannot bring shame to our country. So I stopped at the brink. Before they saw the woman, I had already notified them to evacuate immediately. After that, he glared at Tokoroka Machi and shouted angrily. My men called me and told me that it was that BA5 tard Tokoroka Machi who had his men block my men's retreat and refused to let my men leave. If anything happens tonight that brings discredit to Japan, it will be Tokoroka Machi's responsibility. You're talking nonsense. Tokoroka Machi was also angry. He also talked to his men on the phone and knew the general situation. So he immediately retorted. It was obviously your people who arrived first to assassinate. And there is a high probability that you have succeeded in the assassination. You just wanted to escape from here quickly. But my people didn't let you succeed. The reason they blocked your retreat is because they want to keep you criminals here and wait for the police to take over. My people are completely just. They punish evil and promote good. You? Nishida Hirohiro didn't expect Tokoroka Machi to be so shameless. He came here to steal the secret money, but he said he came to punish evil and promote good. So he immediately trembled and cursed. Do you think anyone believes what you said? You shameless BA5 tard. Your Inagawa society has always been evil. When have you ever had such a sense of social responsibility? Your men blocked the retreat of my men, and killed and injured many of my men. All the lives tonight, one by one, will be counted on the head of your Inagawa society. Because this bloodshed could have been avoided. But it was all because of you. It was you, a greedy BA5 tard, who let them kill all my men. That's why the situation has been at a stalemate. If it weren't for you, Director Watanabe wouldn't have to come here in person. Baka! Tokoroka Machi was also anxious, and shouted at the top of his lungs. You slander me! You slander me! The two of them argued until they were red in the face. And the Superintendent General was so angry that he raised his hand and rushed forward. First slapping Tokoroka Machi in the face, and then slapped Nishida Hirohiro in the face with his backhand, and roared. Both of you shut up. Any responsibility for today's incident is 50-50 between you two families, and no one can escape. As far as I know, there have been more than 100 casualties tonight. As the leaders of these two violent gangs, you two will definitely be sentenced to the maximum penalty other than the death penalty, which is life imprisonment. By then, I can ask the court privately to assign you to the same prison, or even to the same cell, so you can quarrel as much as you want for the rest of your lives. When the two heard that there were more than 100 casualties and that they would also be sentenced to life imprisonment, they were so scared that their faces were filled with despair and their bodies became limp. In fact, over the years, they no longer had to do the affairs of the gang themselves. All the work was done by their subordinates. Even if they got into trouble and needed to be punished by law, it was the younger brothers who suffered. As the two bosses, they did not need to bear any legal responsibility at all. But today, such a big thing, if it is really to be investigated, the two bosses will definitely not be able to get away with it. And it is reasonable to be sentenced to life imprisonment. They also know that this is reasonable, so they are terrified. This means to a large extent that they are powerless to save the situation. Today, the people have been controlled by the police and may be directly arrested, and then detained for trial and waiting to go to prison. So this also means that they will lose their personal freedom from now on. Tokoroka Machi immediately choked up and said, Director Watanabe, this matter has nothing to do with me. It was the idea of my subordinates and my confidants. Our Vice President Itagoki. You should arrest him immediately and make him responsible for this matter. Nishida Hirohiro also came back to his senses and said quickly. Yes, Director Watanabe, it has nothing to do with me recently. It was my subordinate Matsushima who did it. If you want to arrest someone, you should arrest him, not me. The superintendent of police said coldly. Don't worry, it's impossible to arrest only yours. With such a big mess, the senior executives of both sides will basically go to jail. At this time, a miserable cry came. Director Watanabe, how are my brother and niece? I want to see them. Everyone looked sideways and found that it was Mitsui Yoshiesu of the Mitsui family, who was running towards her like crazy. Tokoroka Machi and Nishida Hirohiro subconsciously looked at each other and saw the deep despair in each other's eyes. What does it mean? Listening to what Mitsui Yoshiesu asked, could it be that his brother, Mitsui Yoshitoka, the boss of the Mitsui family, is also in there? In addition, his only daughter, Mitsui Shinmi, was also in there. Moreover, maybe both of them are dead. This is basically equivalent to breaking the sky. At this time, the words of the Superintendent General sent the two of them to hell. The Superintendent General sighed and said to Mitsui Yoshiesu, who ran over with a face full of shame, I am very sorry. Mr. Mitsui, we have received accurate information that your eldest brother and niece have been killed.